infuriating double standard you've ever lived through. When my younger sister Mia was diagnosed with dyslexia in 4th grade, our house rearranged itself around her overnight. My parents hired a reading specialist who came twice a week, bought her audiobooks for every assigned novel, and put a colorful Brain Differences Are Beautiful poster right above the fireplace. Mom read every article she could find. Dad started quizzing Mia with flashcards every night after dinner, patient as a saint. Meanwhile, I sat at the same table struggling with math homework that felt like deciphering a foreign language. Numbers slid around on the page for me, refused to stay in order, refused to make sense no matter how long I stared. When I asked for help, Mom would say I just needed to concentrate harder, unlike your sister, who actually has a real problem. At parent-teacher conferences for Mia, my parents took notes, asked about extended time, asked how they could help at home. At mine, they nodded along when my teacher mentioned I seemed lost during math, then spent the car ride home telling me I was being careless. By 8th grade, Mia had a reduced homework load, a note-taker, and a laptop with special software. I had stomach aches every morning before math class and a growing conviction that I was simply stupid. When I finally worked up the nerve to tell Mom I thought something might be wrong with how I process numbers, she actually laughed. "You get A's in English. You're not the one with the disability in this family." Those A's in English came from staying up until 2 in the morning, reteaching myself concepts other kids absorbed in 20 minutes. I started skipping breakfast because my stomach hurt too badly to eat before a math test. Nobody noticed, or if they did, nobody said anything. Because Mia's needs filled every available inch of attention in our house. The breaking point came junior year. I needed to pass Algebra 2 to graduate on schedule, and I was failing. When I begged my parents for a tutor, Dad said tutoring was expensive, and Mia's reading specialist already stretched the budget thin. "You're capable," he said. "You just don't apply yourself." That night, I sat on my bedroom floor and cried until I gave myself a headache, convinced I was fundamentally broken. My math teacher, Mr. Alvarez, kept me after class the next day because he'd noticed my hands shaking during a quiz. When I finally admitted how long I'd been struggling, he didn't lecture me. He walked me straight to the school counselor's office. Counselor recommended a full evaluation. When I told my parents, my mother said flatly, "We already used our testing money on your sister this year." Mr. Alvarez found a nonprofit that did assessments for free for students who qualify. 3 weeks later, I sat across from a psychologist who told me I had dyscalculia, a learning disability affecting how the brain processes numbers, and that mine was significant enough that it was honestly remarkable I'd kept my grades up at all. She said it plainly. My success wasn't proof nothing was wrong. It was proof of how hard I'd been fighting. My parents didn't apologize. My mother just kept saying, "But you're the smart one." Like repeating it enough times would make it true again. That night, I heard them through the wall. My father said they couldn't afford accommodations for 2 kids. My mother suggested I could manage without extra help since I always had. I stopped waiting for them to change their minds. I spent that spring applying for every scholarship and grant I could find specifically for students with learning disabilities. And by graduation, I had a full ride to a state school 4 hours away. The disability office there set me up with accommodations the first week. No permission slip required. No argument about money. Mia and I aren't close anymore. Every visit home reopens something neither of us mentions out loud. My mother still asks, with a faint note of suspicion, whether I really need the extra time on exams, while telling anyone who will listen how proud she is of how far Mia had. Last Christmas, my father announced that Mia had made the dean's list using her accommodations, beaming like it was a family triumph. Mother mentioned they'd started donating to a dyslexia foundation. I excused myself to the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub, and just breathed for a minute before going back out to smile through the rest of dinner.